Wow.
swag.
That's good. We didn't
like,
even start talking yet. That's crazy. I appreciate it.
what do you mean? Well, we've been like.
Well, I mean, we've been off.
So how are you? How long you
I'm
been in
good.
New York?
I've been here for like a day or two, but I love New York. I lived in Bushwick for a little bit, for like
Did you
3 months.
really?
Yeah, when I was 19. I stayed with my dog, shout out Matt Bond, at the Treble House, and there was like a really big vibe back then in Brooklyn, and
Fire.
I got like my start out here,
Nice.
I recorded at like Kid Super's basement, and I used to be
Oh, you
in
was
there
really
with-
tapped in.
I was really tapped in,
Yeah.
like Jordan Bryden, Stro, just so many different amazing musicians, fashion designers. It's a huge industry out here.
No, honestly.
A lot of connections.
Yeah, New York is the best, especially for fashion, especially for music. And I think just getting like a community. But what made you pick Brooklyn of all the places when you decided to come out here and stay?
Well, back then there was like a really big wave of independent artists and just a lot of talented people that were coming together in Brooklyn for this thing called Treble Tuesdays. And I had a friend, Matt Bond, that was kind of introducing me to a lot of different artists, but also a lot of different business connects and stuff like that. And I decided that I was going to come here. I was doing a couple things. I was doing The Breakfast Club. I had like this performance with Tidal. It was like my first like New York show. It was like a Brooklyn something.
Oh, Brooklyn X.
Yes, there we
Yeah.
go. It was Brooklyn X. And so I was out here for that. And I think that the whole thing about Brooklyn and what everybody told me was like, you want to go to the real New York, go to Brooklyn. So I went to Brooklyn. I don't know. I stayed in Bushwick. At that time, it was getting
Gentrified.
gentrified. There we go. That's the word. So I don't want to say I was like, in it. But my earliest manager is from Brownsville. And,
Okay.
So I went to Bed-Stuy and got some Jamaican food. Shout out to Stro. That's my dog.
I love that. Now, the
Yeah.
food in Brooklyn is definitely,
Fire.
like top notch.
Nah, that's it. Yeah.
Love Brooklyn. I haven't lived in Brooklyn yet, though. I've been in Queens for like
You've been in
6
Queens.
years.
I was just in Queens yesterday. Queens is dope, yo.
Queens is dope. It's
Queens
its
is
own
dope.
world.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Right. It's its own place. Like, it's like and I love that about New York because I feel like every different borough is like its own, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
spot and place. So
Wait, so you lived here when you was 19? So how long
Yeah.
have you been doing this?
how long have I been making music?
Yeah.
I've been creating music and putting it out since I was 13. So like when I was 13, there used to be a space, shout out U Media in Chicago, where they had different kids, different programs and stuff. And one of the things they had was they had a studio. So I used to go through there all the time with a lot of different artists that, are from Chicago. We got our start there. Shout out to No Name, shout out Saba, Lucky. But basically I used to go into the studio and start recording when I was a kid. And I had a friend that kind of knew how to use Pro Tools, and he'd engineer, and we had different producers. And that was really the start of everything.
Nice.
And, I continued to stay independent. I first started putting stuff out on YouTube, then SoundCloud came out, then TuneCore came out.
Right.
And now we're with United Masters. Shout out to them.
Dope.
So, yeah.
I love that. And I will say there was a good long time period where I was like obsessed with like the renaissance that Chicago was having.
Yeah. It's crazy that you just said that. We used to call it the Renaissance,
That's what it felt
Because
like.
I was there, when my brother, shout out to Chance, was, changing and disrupting the industry. I feel like, of course, in so many ways, but then also for Chief Keef, also for King Louie, also for Lil Durk, Spenzo,
Yeah,
Herbo.
and you have so many different flavors that Chicago is giving you. Like
You can't box in Chicago.
I
That's
love
like
Atlanta,
a huge
but
thing.
it's like Chicago's like that sneaky right underneath.
I would say this about, I love Atlanta because I was just in Atlanta. We had a show. So I'm actually on tour right now. Shout out to Champion, Be Yourself, Be a Champion tour. And it's a free college tour. So we're just going to universities, playing the unreleased project that drops this Friday,
Super
introducing them. But then also, we have this super dope, I actually brought this for you.
I love it. Thank
so
you.
this is one of the pieces we collaborated on, me and Champion. So my brand is Be Yourself. Of course, they're champions. So be yourself, be a champion. But I was going to say, we actually had our first show with Dominic Fike in Atlanta, I think like about 2 weeks ago. And I just had to keep telling just random people that I was meeting that the atmosphere, the people that are there, there's really no place like that. Like, it's just a beautiful, I love Atlanta. But of course, Chicago, but I definitely had to put that in there because, shout out to everybody in Atlanta, got it. Slot.
So what do you think would be the difference, like city to city, between Chicago and Atlanta? Because I'm from the DMV, so we have like a huge black population as well. But it's just the energy is different in each city. So what I tell people is, respectfully, I love Atlanta, but I feel like the DMV is like a bougier version of Atlanta.
Where?
Like,
I can see that.
Like, majority is bougie.
Well,
Where, like, in Atlanta, it's pockets of bougie.
I mean, I would say that, you know, what I love is that everybody in Atlanta is very friendly.
Yeah.
You know, again, like, the hospitality there is just, like, it's kind of, like, unmatched.
Is it like that in Chicago? I haven't been yet.
For sure. I think the thing about Chicago is that it is a city that is combined of so many different backgrounds and so many different people. And time again, we've come together as a city for different obstacles that I think we faced. And, you know, so
that is one thing I really admire too, is that you guys are very hands-on with your community and with the political system that's going on. That's not normal in other cities, especially for the youth to be that involved.
Yeah, for sure. Well, shout out to my dad. You could throw him on the camera right there. That's my senior advisor and chief of staff.
Nice.
He's been working in, you know, politics since he was a teenager.
Wow.
And not even from the level of, you know, sitting in an office, but streets and sanitation and you know, so many different things, I think, in terms of taking care of the community. And him and a lot of his friends and other people are advocates and also inspirations for a lot of us young folks in Chicago. You know, shout out to Jamal Green. And there's so many different, I feel like, activists and just people that are in Chicago that have this perspective that they can be a part of the system and not work under the system.
Right.
And that comes from, you know, people like my dad, Kim Bennett. So
do you feel like it's like that because of, like, I guess, remnants of the Panther movement that was going on there? Because it was super strong in Chicago.
For sure, yeah, definitely. You know, there's definitely and then shout out to my grandmother, Janice Williams Bennett. So, you know, basically,
Bennett is a household name.
The Bennetts, yeah, it's like a thing. You know, there's a lot of history in Chicago, and what you have to remember is the migration period, right? So a lot of people came from down south, and then we moved up, you know, thinking that we were going to have more opportunity and more jobs to find, you know, the black belt and redlining and different things that didn't really allow us to leave our neighborhoods and the areas that we were in.
Yeah.
So I feel like in Chicago, there's a very strong culture when it comes to the South Side and the West Side. And it's not just something because of the people, but it's also because of soul food. It's also because of jazz, you know, the way and the reason why the music sounds the way that it does in the Midwest, again, and the food tastes the way that it does is because we all came from separate places looking for something better. And then we moved together and, you know, created the culture that we have today from so many different surrounding pieces and areas of America. So I love Chicago. There's really no place like it.
That's super dope. And wait, so your father's in politics and he's here with you?
He's actually not in politics anymore, but I guess
okay.
You could say he's in politics because he runs my campaign.
Got it.
But, you know, he works for his sons now, which is awesome.
That's beautiful.
Taylor Bennett and, of course, Chance the Rapper, my older brother.
I love the family dynamic within that.
Yeah, we need family business, especially in the music industry. You know, we're independent, so, of course, that doesn't mean that we don't have a team. My father's been a huge part of giving us a structure and having, you know, multiple team members in different departments and having a process and a structure of how the organization is ran. But I also would say foundation, and then also it's a thing where if you can move with process in the music industry, you know, there's generational wealth involved. Like I own all my masters, so those are going to my children.
Yeah.
And, you know, even further, the business is going to my children. So, you know, there's still an organization to be managed and to be ran. And just like, you know, my dad works with me, I'll work with my children. And, you know, I love that idea. Thank you, Dad, because I think that is, you know, how things should go.
Yeah. No, that's super
family
dope.
business, the Bennetts.
Super dope. So let's talk about the Be Yourself campaign that you're going on right now. How did you get this collaboration with Champion?
It was super interesting. Again, you know, I always have to bring it back to the independence. My father and I, you know, we have been working on this project. He's one of the executive producers, and also Dwayne Verner Jr.
No, you guys are mad inspiring. Sorry, go ahead.
That's love. I appreciate it. Well, the thing is, so we were working on this project, and when I was creating this project, a big thing about it is that I wanted it to be inclusive. I wanted it to be something where it kind of created an environment, because there's so many spaces that are out there where it feels like you might not belong. And that could be anywhere from a concert to a party to a kickback to anything.
Campus,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could be anywhere where you feel like you're a misfit. And what I want to do with this project is I wanted to create an environment that didn't have to be a physical space, but could start off as a beacon of positivity in some place where people kind of belong. So when we were working on the project, I was thinking, which kids do I want this to touch the most? And the idea is that the name of the project is Coming of Age. And I felt like the records I was creating were really high school, but really college records, coming of age. Like, that step that you take when you're in your dorm room and you just left your parents' house and you're trying to figure out what is adulthood.
Yep.
And I understand that so much.
Yeah.
So the idea when we were creating the project was, how do we find partners? And I can't stress this enough for any independent artist or anybody that's out there, even artists that have deals. Partners are very important. Strong partners are very important. And if the relationship is reciprocal, how it is with Champion, you can do a lot. So we started thinking about different brands that we wanted to work with. And as I started to twist my eyes in each direction, no matter if they were high school or college students, adults or children, I kept seeing Champion. And something that I love about the brand, besides the name, is also how accompanying it is to different generations.
Yeah.
There's so many different people for years, even, and I'm sure you have some Champion stuff in your closet, that it's like a thing where it feels like not so much of a brand, but more of a family or a stage that you go through. And it's like a thing where, again, you could be a baby or you can be an adult or you can be in college. So I really like the idea because, again, that made me feel like their brand was inclusive. And I wanted to figure out a way that we could work with them. So shout out to UTA, my major agency, United Talent Agency. They ended up creating a call, and me and my dad got on the phone, and as my dad does best, we created a plan. And I want to say that too. I want to stress that for any artist, the most important thing that you could have is a plan. Everybody wants to be somewhere. And I also say this, everybody sees success, but a lot of times it's hard to see the process that it takes to get there.
Word.
That process is the plan. So my dad, who's taught me structure my whole life, was like, we need to create a plan that supports whatever you want to do. I've had this brand Be Yourself since my project in 2018, Be Yourself, a year after I came out. I was openly bisexual and joined the LGBTQ community openly. And the brand just really started to take off in terms of the merchandise. But I'll never forget the reason why I made the merchandise Be Yourself was because I've always felt weird about, just me specifically, wearing other artists' faces or names on my shirt. Made me feel like a billboard. And I didn't want my fans to have to wear a picture of my face or wear my name. I mean, if they want to, that's great. But I wanted them to be a banner for positivity.
I love that.
So when I started, printing these out, they really started to go crazy. And thinking about the idea of meshing my brand Be Yourself with Champion to make Be Yourself be a champion was really like a dream come true. So to get closer to the end of this, my father was like, we're talking about doing this brand collaboration, but what I really think we should do is we should do some shows. Shout out to the amazing people at Champion, because they were like, we should do some shows, like not just in one city or in one area. We should do a lot of shows. And then my dad was like, we should do a tour. And
that's a genius idea.
Is, I mean, that's my dad, and we, put our heads together on this one and really kind of created a strategy and a plan using UTA, again, shouting out to them for helping us route this free college tour, where, my music gets access to people that it might not touch, but then it's also a lot of people that have this experience to not just hear new music, not just to greet me as an artist, but then again to get this billboard of positivity and be able to wear that, and spread that message,
That's super dope. I really love the message behind it. There's two things I actually want to bring up about Be Yourself.
Definitely.
One, you said that you didn't want people wearing like your face on a shirt. And I love that because, I feel like to idolize somebody is a little dangerous. Like, I feel like nobody should be idolized like that. So the fact that you're like, you know what, it's not about me, it's just putting positivity in you.
100%. And I think
dope.
it's also a thing where it's like, I believe every artist should have a message. Every artist should have something to say, something. I do believe that artists have a responsibility to our communities.
Yeah.
And just, everything that we create, it has legs and it continues to move. So I just wanted to, shout out Champion again for helping us do this, for supporting this amazing tour. And, this is super dope. I'm so excited for the project to release.
That is a breath of fresh air.
Road.
Especially like in a time like this where being yourself is not, like people don't celebrate people that are themselves.
I think that's like the whole thing. And again, that's what this whole project is about. This whole tour is about. This whole merchandise campaign is about. It's about giving people an environment or giving people an opportunity to feel accepted.
I love that.
But to also not feel that they have to change. That's one of my favorite Jay-Z lines. I don't let the room change me. I just walk in the room and I'm myself, and be yourself. So I love it.
Super dope. All right, so let's talk about this project dropping Friday.
Yeah.
Is the single you released on the 1st that's going to be on there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Fall Short. So Fall Short will definitely be on there. This is a really interesting project. And, the reason why I say that is I feel like I'm definitely taking a creative risk with this project. But I also feel like that was something that was missing in the years prior to this. I've been rapping, like I said, since I was 13, and I'm not the biggest star, but I've definitely had a decent following for a couple years. And the thing about having fans is that, of course, the saying is, if something isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that you can start to be like, okay, I don't want to stray too far away from what people like about me. And the problem with that is that stops your growth as an artist. So, like, for me, this whole project was, how do I continue to grow? How do I support the things that I love? And if I find success through it, of course, I'll be more happy than any other way that I could find success. But if I fail at it, at least I know I was myself.
Yeah.
And I do believe this to be true. Everybody falls.
Yeah.
Everybody. I would rather fall being myself than being somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
I get that. That's risky. It makes me nervous, honestly, because like Roddy Ricch, right, with his sophomore album.
Shout out Roddy Ricch. She's such a super duper talented artist. I love you, Roddy Ricch. I know you just said Roddy Ricch. I just had to go crazy. Roddy Ricch is so talented. Like, he's so dope. He's an amazing singer, amazing writer, amazing artist. He works so hard. I don't know him personally, but I super support you and I rock with you, brother. And I definitely wish the best for you.
Yeah, Roddy's dope. But I was bringing him up to say, with his second project, he went like a completely different route. And it like...
You think so?
What? Yeah, for sure.
What makes you say that?
Not sonically. You know what he did? He went with different production and he gave us a lot of different sounds. So I
feel like he didn't have anything with DJ Mustard on that project.
Yeah, the single. But that was it.
I mean, because the project before the single was with DJ Mustard, right?
Yeah, mostly Mustard. Loved it. It was hits. It got good feedback. And the second project didn't get the same feedback. So I was just saying that to say.
I mean, I would just say this too. Like, it's not all about numbers. I'm sure Rowdy doesn't, just like me, like, it's not always about numbers. I think that sometimes when we put a barrier on success and we say that we have to reach this certain level or this certain audience or this certain group, it takes away from the art. Yeah. And I don't think that was his plan. But I also feel like, just like my music, it's not for everybody. Every time you put something out again, you're not going to, hopefully, you can. But, my biggest thing, I enjoyed the project. I thought it was dope. I thought he did a great job on it. I still see him having a lot of success and doing a lot of successful things. And I know he's going to continue to, keep doing it. So
he has to. But it was just that sophomore jinx. So that's why.
That happens, and I think that, again, the thing is people have these, and that's what's dangerous about the industry. Again, you have these expectations. And my whole thing, I want to get back to the point where people just made music to make music. I want to get back to the Supremes. Yeah. I want to get back to Marvin Gaye. I want to get back to Diana Ross. I don't care about the numbers. We shouldn't care about the numbers. The numbers has nothing to do with the artistic creation or the value of the project. And once we start saying we're not going to listen to something because it doesn't have enough sales, we're lost. This music is more important than sales. It has nothing to do with numbers. It has nothing, the business, more importantly, shouldn't have to do with anybody else except for the artist. Like, those should be the only people that care about the numbers that they're doing. If there's a management team that's behind you that's saying that the project, and I'm not saying this specifically about Roddy Ricch, is for any artist, there's a manager behind you saying that your project didn't do enough numbers and it's not a success, I would say they're wrong. And I would say that mentality is exactly what's wrong with the industry right now.
Okay. So even with that, outside of just the numbers, how do you feel about like fan bases being split? Because I know people who feel like I want to put out a project, but it'll please these type of my fans.
Well, you want me to tell you something that's crazy? I think, and I'm glad that we're even having this conversation, where hip-hop is at right now is it's become a thing where artists are hot for a week. And I'm guilty of it too. And I'd like to say I'm sorry. No, in all seriousness, like, I'd like to apologize to a lot of artists because I have those times where I hear a record and I say, I'm going to play this weekend. and I play the same record the next week, and I don't do research on the artist. I don't follow the artist. I don't see what they're about. But then the next week I throw them away because there's another song that's charting. That's whack, man.
Yeah.
That's whack. You know, that's not what hip hop is about. That's not what art is about. You know, and I think to even say again in a bigger, you know, as the fans, if we really care so much about these artists, why don't you send them a tweet and say, how are you doing? Why are we saying that, are you okay because your numbers are low?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't really focus on the numbers because I be feeling like it's not real anyway.
Why you say that? Speak on that. Why you say that?
I just don't feel like it's real.
What do you mean it's not real? If it's not real, what is it?
It's paid by labels. It's paid by machines. You know, like.
Hey, that's not me. I didn't say that.
So that's why.
But I agree with you. I do think that there's a lot of, you know, play with the numbers, with the labels, with the Instagram, with the, and again, I think that's the issue when it's like, you know, I think again that's kind of like it's all good. They getting that. It's getting deep in here. She said something. They turned the lights off on you. They put the lights out on it. They're like, oh, cut it. No, like, but in all seriousness, oh, that's hilarious. No, but in all seriousness, I do think a lot of these things are tampered with. And again, that's the problem with, and that is the world that we live in. And that's why it's so important for the listeners. I'm talking to you, whoever is listening to this. I am talking to you as well, but this is more the reason why we're having this conversation is because you guys have a platform, and I'm thankful to be on it, to have all of these listeners and all of these beautiful minds that are all tapped in right now to this radio station. I want all of you guys to understand the music is music because you like it and because you love it. And I want you guys to support your artists that you love, that you like. Do it freely. I want you to, you know, my whole thing, and that's why I even said I love so many different artists that it's insane. I love Queen. I love the Beatles. I love the Smiths. I love Diana Ross. I love Sam Cooke. I love Michael Jackson. I love Jay-Z. But we should all be like that. Because all music and all art should be valued. Yeah. We shouldn't tell anybody that based off a genre or based off where they come from or whatever background they're from, that music isn't as valuable or shouldn't be something that is lifelong memory.
I feel like we are slowly getting to that point,
especially
since hip hop is now, you know, pop. You know, it's mainstream. So it's like, I feel like we all are, and then we're seeing these major collabs like Dua Lipa and The Baby. Like, we're seeing it happen. It's just taking a really long time. But not everybody is that deep of a music lover. Like, some people just like whatever's being fed to them. And that's why.
I don't believe that.
That's why
I don't believe that.
But that's why the computers work.
Nah, I don't believe that. You want to know something? I believe that there's a movie that I enjoy. It's called The Founder. It's about McDonald's. And this guy says that it's not about the lack of demand, it's about the lack of supply. So if all you see is this, and that's what, you know, this project even speaks deeper to, is the stereotypes that are out there that, you know, if all that you understand is a perspective or an image from YouTube, from a rap video, and you've never seen somebody that looks like me, I understand why you feel like that. I get it, because you don't know me. And I think that there is an open dialogue that needs to be challenged, that we need to push for more when it comes from rappers and it comes from, you know, or comes to expounding on ideas and, you know, the reasons why we create and do the things that we do, because again, behind this music, we are a community. We are a people. Behind every award show, behind every major performance, we are people. We have mothers, we have fathers, we have children, we have cousins. We cry, we hurt. You get what I'm saying? It's deeper than all of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know you feel that too, you know, so.
That was
sheesh.
fun.
You the one that brought it up.
Yo,
she the one that brought it up.
Oh, he's telling me to hurry up. All right. This
I love
is such
it.
a good combo.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you having me for sure. We got to do it again. Definitely.
Yeah. When you come back, I'm definitely going to come to your
Please,
show.
Yeah. No, definitely. I need you every end. Shout out. Yo, New York, May 12th, May 13th. We are SOBs. It's a free show. You could go RSVP right now. You don't got to put no money down. Just come check out the new project and vibe with us, man.
I love that. And shout out your gram. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you guys check me out on Instagram at Taylor Bennett, on Twitter at _Taylor Bennett. Most importantly, make sure you get the project Coming of Age releasing this Friday, April 22nd. And then also catch me on my free college and university tour, Be Yourself, Be a Champion, going on right now. Next stop, North Carolina, this Friday. Let's get it.
Before I let you go, is there any, I guess, like any songs on the project that you struggled to express because it was such a like sensitive time in your life?
Yeah, for sure. I think the whole thing about this project is expression. Like that's like an expression and positivity. You know, I wanted to challenge myself to do what I love to do. And it's not easy. And that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I have these shirts and I have all this, because I think that we need to get more comfortable with even the idea of being ourselves.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do believe that it is inspirational when I see somebody do something that I know they truly love to do and they're taking a risk. So I want to try to give that to the fans because I see them support me. That's a risk. When I came out as openly bisexual and people supported me, that was a risk. When I said that I wanted to cross over and do business and management and my fans and people around me supported me, that was a risk. So I'm just trying to keep it 100 with them as well. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. Favorite record on there?
Favorite record on the new project, Kickback featuring Madden Kim.
Why that one?
Because a big thing about this project is I got to work with all these different artists that I loved when I was growing up. So Madden Kim, I love Daylight, Plain White Tees that made Hey There Delilah, Tom Higginson is on today, Mr. Hudson from Supernova and Forever Young and Mr. Hudson in the Library is on there. But Madden Kim, that song is something that I've been wanting to do forever. Like, I've been a fan of them. Like, when I was a kid, I just had my headphones in all the time. I had my headphones when I walked on in here, too. But it was like a thing where I never felt like this is my success. And I think that's what's so cool about it. Like, I love Jay-Z. I definitely want a record with you. I love Drake. I want a record with you. But the 15-year-old me wanted a record with Madden Kim. They wanted a record with. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to do it and also be able to do it my way and then have the support system. Like, y'all letting me come on the show and push this message.
Of course.
Fire.
Yo, super dope. I'm super excited to hear it.
Thank you, dude.
I'll be at the show on the 13th, New York City. Make sure you guys are there. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for stopping by, Taylor.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it, yo. Peace out.